Anytime you go to pursue something to be consistent with it, if it feels like a burden, then you will never stick with it. There are so many times where I went to go read the word or I committed to overcoming lust, but because it was such a burden, after a couple of weeks, I just didn't want to anymore. The reason why most people never stay consistent and stay with this mindset is because they don't know the difference between a burden and a battle. Because anytime you go to start something new, no matter what it is, there's going to be a battle. Because a burden and a battle almost feel the exact same, most people think they're battling, in reality, they're carrying a burden. And the only difference between a burden and a battle is a burden is something you carry that weighs you down. But a battle is something that you fight for that builds you up. And the only time that you carry this burden is when you're doing something out of obligation. And this is exactly what Paul warned us about in Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. It tells us not to be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. Because just like the people used to try to keep the law in order to please God, that's exactly what you're doing when you're trying to force yourself to read, force yourself to overcome temptation without a real reason behind it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't pursue things just because you don't feel like it. Because with your flesh, you're never going to feel like doing those things. But how you make sure that you're not carrying that burden is if you're doing things out of love. You know that you are fighting for something greater. You're not getting condemned, but you're getting convicted. You know, at the end of the day, you pushing through that battle is what's going to bring you true fulfillment. So make sure anything you're trying to be consistent with, make sure there's not a burden attached to it. Because Jesus died on the cross so you can live out of love for him, not so you can go back to feeling validated by your works. So y'all stay blessed.